Overnight, the FAA shutting all airspace over El Paso, Texas for the next 10 days for unspecified security reasons, warning any planes violating can be shot down. Closing airspace over a major U.S. city for this reason is very rare and has not happened since after 9/11. Pilot and aviation expert Kyle Bailey is a former member of the FAA safety team, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Kyle.
Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. What do you think this means? FAA is saying special security reasons, but they're not elaborating.
The interesting thing is this is in the vicinity of Fort Bliss and also the Biggs Field, which are both military installations. And the duration, we're talking 10 days. Normally, TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, could be hours, could be a day, could be 2 days if it's for VIPs. But it's unprecedented for a 10-day temporary flight restriction from the surface up to 18,000 feet and a 10-mile radius. If it was like a spaceship launch or something like that, or something going up to space, that would be unlimited. But there's a cap at 18. But 18,000 feet itself is very, very high for a temporary flight restriction. So it's definitely something big, like a national security event, a very high-level VIP. But the interesting thing is that on the Mexican side of the border, there's no flight restriction. So that would lead me to believe that whatever is happening is not in conjunction with the Mexican government.
Interesting.
Because if it was that airspace on the other side, probably the Mexican government probably would issue some kind of warning or restriction. We don't see that.
Very
but I think it's safe to say it's something very big, either from a national security standpoint or perhaps testing something. Equipment or something going into the air around the vicinity of those bases.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking up what happens at Fort Bliss, major U.S. Army installation, home of 1st Armored Division, premier training site for desert warfare and armored units. It supports 90,000 soldiers. So I instantly think security reasons, special security reasons, that there's been a threat to Fort Bliss. And that might actually make more sense when you're saying that the airspace over Mexico has not been shut down. But could it be, could it be staffing shortages of the air traffic control? However, if you read the statement from the FAA, they say the FAA on short notice issued a temporary flight restriction halting all flights to and from El Paso and our neighboring community, Santa Teresa, New Mexico. The restriction prohibits all aircraft operations, including commercial, cargo, and general aviation, until February 20th.
I doubt it's air traffic control. If that was the issue, they would move somebody from another facility anywhere in the country. That's not really very busy airspace. It's not like New York or Philadelphia or Los Angeles. It could very easily be staffed. So I do not think it's air traffic control, but it's definitely something very big happening. Okay. Either that or testing something that's going into the air, I would suspect.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thanks, Ainsley.
You're welcome. More Fox and Friends coming up.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.